Good evening and welcome to Not the Show. Joe.
I'm Mondo.
How are you, buddy?
Good. How are you, man?
Good. Very good.
Excellent.
Yeah. What's new?
It's Monday.
Yeah, Monday's blow.
And it's like 9-something.
Yes.
We were almost on time for the live this.
Almost.
Almost.
Close, but no cigar.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, it's fine. There's not a lot going on anyway.
No.
How have you been?
No. I've been all right. Not going on for me. I've been just working and chilling and eating hamburgers. I've been eating a lot of hamburgers without buns.
Nice.
Look, I ain't doing Atkins or nothing because I'm eating a lot of vegetables, and those are bad, right? Not bad, but
they were bad because of the way I was doing it. But,
right, because of the carbs.
Right, but there's a lot of dietary fiber in vitamins and in vegetables, and that negates some of the carbs that are in the vegetables to begin with. So like peanuts are a good example. There's, let's say a handful of peanuts has 10 grams of carbs, but it has 6 grams of dietary fiber, so it kind of eliminates 6 grams of those carbs.
Oh, I like peanuts.
Vegetables fall into that same category.
Okay. Well,
Fiber.
that's good.
Fiber fixes them a little.
Yeah, I'm just trying to eat less bread because I'm lazy now. Like, all right, I've always been lazy, like all my life. But
I don't want to say
it. But when I work, I like to work when I'm working. When I'm actually working, I like to work. I like to work hard. I like to go home at the end of the day and be like, man, I worked hard. Now I'm going to be lazy. And when I was doing distribution at the post office, I worked my ass off and I loved it. And I dropped some weight and I was really happy. And now it's like I got a window job that I didn't really want, but it's a regular job, so I took it. Mm-hmm. Of course, obviously, the benefits, the more money. But I stand there all day. I'm slowly putting on weight. And so until I can get myself disciplined enough to start getting all the exercise I'm missing from actually working for a living, I've just decided to just be kind of careful with a lot of the stuff that I was eating. I'm just not doing anymore.
Okay.
And, I eat a lot of things that normally contain bread. At lunch, I go and I get a couple of hot dogs. I'm constantly eating peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Well, peanut butter, I don't eat the jelly anymore. I'll have peanut butter sandwich when I come home from work. So, and then there's hamburgers. Like we go to Cookout and there's hamburgers. And so I just, I'm just going to stop eating bread because, I really don't need it. It's like It's just something to hold my hamburger. So I eat hot dogs now. I get 2 hot dogs from like the Hess station, and I just eat them with a fork. Like I spear them with a fork, and I just eat the hot dog because that's the good part is the meat.
And that's how I've been doing it. I didn't really stop eating all the bad stuff I ate before, but I stopped eating the bread that goes along with it, just like you said. The only weird one for me is I'll take like 2 bites from the tip of a piece of pizza, and then I'll eat the cheese and the sauce off. That's going a little far, I think.
Yeah. If I'm gonna have pizza, I'm gonna eat pizza. But
get a fork and pick off the cheese, and I'll have like two slices of pizza without the bread part. Very strange. I try not to get into situations where I'm having pizza, so I don't do it very often. But like at a kid's birthday party, if I'm there with Joe and all they're serving is pizza, I'll eat some cheese.
There you go. So that's my week, hamburgers. What did you do this week? Anything interesting?
Yeah, I had a busy week. I went to Jane's Addiction with Dean and his girlfriend Marta.
Oh,
yeah, that was good. I mean, they've always put on a good show. I've seen them a bunch of times, but this was a really small place, and we were one of the first ones in the door, and it was all standing room only. So we were like center stage, right on the rail. Like,
nice.
Yeah, and they were like, I shook Perry Farrell's hand. I gave him a pound as he passed, touching everybody's hands.
Right. Nice.
And at one point, he climbed off the stage onto where the bouncer would usually stand to throw back the people that are crowd surfing.
Right.
And he stood, and I was holding onto the railing, and he just kind of leaned against my hands. So I definitely
That's cool.
Perry Farrell crotch hands for a bit. I didn't want to let go. I didn't want to let go because you can't let go of the pole because when he comes close, everyone in the crowd surges forward. As when there's moshing, that happens too.
Yeah.
You gotta hold on to the railing or you get crushed up against the thing. So I didn't want to let go.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. But, dude, have you listened to any of like Jane's Addiction's music?
Of course.
I mean, Perry Farrell crotch hand sounds like, did you wash? Like in boiling bleach? Rinse with alcohol?
Probably should have.
Maybe. That's awesome though. That's awesome. I would get Perry Farrell crotch hands if I given an opportunity.
I mean, I took some really great close-up pictures, and there was some moshing and some crowd surfing. I mean, we're 40, right? And Jane's Addiction, was from my generation, I suppose. So there was some people there, but mostly it was 40-year-olds. But there was still, I still had to hold myself off that railing and shove everybody back once in a while during the fast songs.
What'd they close with?
This was a special tour. This was okay. This is a special tour. It was Nothing Shocking. So they did front to back, Nothing Shocking, the whole album straight through.
Nice. And that was all they did?
No. So yeah, that's why I stopped myself a minute ago. But that was what it was supposed to be. That was advertised as.
Right.
But you can't really close the show with whatever the last song on Nothing Shocking is, which I don't remember off the top of my head.
If I remember, it's kind of like slow-ish.
Yes, and so for the last 3, including
the one that goes like, me and my girlfriend. Is that the one? It's been a long time since I listened to them.
No, that's Summertime. That's middle of the album. That's Summertime.
Okay.
Then Idiots. Then Jane Says. Then Pigs and Zen. Pigs and Zen might be the last song on, unless it's 3 days. Because they did. Okay, so they did Pigs and Zen. Then they did. Then they did. Don't Stop Steal. Don't Been Caught Stealing.
Okay.
Which is off of
Ritual de la Habitual.
Then they left the stage and came back, and they did 3 days and Stop. And now Stop is also off Ritual. I don't know what 3 days is from. I mean, I have the album right in front of me. Why am I looking at it? Up the Beach, Oceanside. Oh, it just went away. I was looking at it, and it left the screen. I'll pull it up again. Nothing Shocking. Jane's Addiction. Pigs and Zen is the last song. So they did 3 songs all off Ritual after that.
And then they did Pigs in Zen?
They did Pigs in Zen.
And then they did the 3 songs off of Ritual.
Right. No, they did Been,
Okay.
They did Been Caught Stealing, then 3 Days, then Stop, all after Pigs in Zen.
All right.
Yeah. So, needless to say, it was a great show, and but during the show, some dude crowd surfing. So Dean's standing next to me, and his girlfriend's in front of him. And he's got his arms protecting her, you know.
Sure.
And she's a little bit shorter, and she wasn't paying attention, and the crowd surfer came down like on top of her almost.
Yeah.
Turned out he came down on top of her and then kind of rolled across the railing into the spot where the bouncers wait, and it was like a 70-year-old dude, completely bald.
Oh my God.
Old man. And she yelled at him.
Sure.
And he was like, "You're at a concert and you're standing in the front row against the stage." And then he just ran off. And I gotta agree with the guy.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, wait, but why'd you yell at him for landing on her? Or because like he's 70 and he shouldn't be doing that.
No, for landing on her.
Oh, see, no, I thought maybe like if she was yelling at him because it's like, dude, you're 70, like you're gonna break a hip. I'm down with that.
No, he hurt her arm, so she yelled at him because he fell on her arm, sort of.
Right. And I mean, he's right, but I mean, I hear,
The fact that I made them stand there also probably added to that. I mean, Dean probably wouldn't, no matter what, but she was like, "We're really going to stay here for the whole show for the craziness?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, all right. So I can definitely see her point of view then. It's just like, she's not standing where she wants to be standing.
Yeah.
She kind of wanted to be safe. She wanted to be where I usually go now when I go to see shows, depending on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like when Angie and I went and saw the Misfits last year, right? It's like, I was just like, no, we're standing back here by the merch table. This is where we're going to stand. And I mean, we were like near the pit. So it's like, I was pushing people back in and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to go up by the stage. I didn't want to bring her by the stage. I mean, she could probably handle herself, but I didn't want none of that.
Yeah.
Just like I didn't want none of going into the pit as much as I kind of wanted to. It's like every time I almost did, I was like, bro, you're fucking 45. You're not going in that pit. You stop it now.
We're too old for this shit.
Damn Skippy. Mm-hmm. But when we saw like Southern Culture on the Skids, I mean, they're pretty like, man, I almost said hip band. Like that would have made me sound really old. They're hip. I mean, they're pretty happening. They're pretty wild, but it's definitely not the Misfits. So, I mean, we went right up to the stage for that because I knew that it was, nobody was going to get hurt. I mean, there was a little bit of, I don't know if I'd call it moshing really. There was a little bit of dancing.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, nobody was getting hurt. So, I mean, that was a right up front, no worries.
Oh yeah, it was a good show, and I made them stay there. And in the end, she also got a drumstick on the head when the drummer threw the drumsticks out to the audience after the show ended.
Does she still have the drumstick?
No, none of us were able to get the drumstick. It bounced right off the top of her head, and someone else got it. We do have the story though.
Absolutely. Now big hair in the 80s makes sense to me. It was for catching shit at shows.
Yeah, must have been.
Like she had the big hair. She had 80s like Motley Crue big hair. She'd have a drumstick.
Caught right in there. Guitar picks. You go home, you pick the stuff. Just guitar picks and
yeah, just
sweaty towels.
Oh, I went to a Misfit show once again. The Misfits. I went to a Misfit show with Tara a mad long time ago. It's me, Tara, Alex, and Kev. We dragged poor Kevin Smith. I don't know if he knew what he was in for, but anyway, Jerry only took off one of his armbands. He wears these armbands, the kind you normally wear on your wrist for tennis, but these are bigger on his arm. Mm-hmm. And he threw it into the crowd, and she caught it. And man, that thing was like you could wring out his sweat. Uh-huh. And she was all happy, and I was like, man, that is gross as fuck, man. I get chills thinking about it, man. Why would you you put it on a stick or something, you bring it home, and maybe you dry it in the dryer. Don't wash it first if you want to say it's got his DNA in it, but man, that was gross.
That sounds gross.
Yeah.
So that was fun. That was a good time. There was an opening band that was really loud and really not good.
Oh.
That's another thing. I've always resisted the idea of bringing earplugs like the other older people around me at the concert.
Right.
But I was deaf like for half the next deaf. I mean, everything was like muted for the whole rest of the night and half the next day, and I may still have a little bit of ringing still in the background. 3 days later or 2 days later. So I don't know. I'm almost feeling like I should start for anything loud like that. I should start bringing. If I'm gonna go that close to the speakers in any way, maybe I should be bringing musicians' earplugs, the kinds that let music through but mutes out the sound that hurts.
Yeah, I might start bringing those too for certain shows, and not so much because did I tell you about the Misfit show when that I saw with Angie? How I passed out, like I doubled over,
yes.
and like hit my head. Yeah, it's like part of me wonder. All right, some of it I think was low blood pressure. I didn't eat enough, and I drank too much too fast. But I also wonder if the music wasn't so loud, like fucking up my equilibrium, like maybe it was like just pounding into like those little like level things. That's how I always picture it. When people tell you like, passing out and stuff, it's like you got that liquid in your ear.
Sinuses.
Yeah. And it's like, I always picture like those bubbles on like the level that construction guys use. And it's like, so what if like, because I'm old, like that shit was just shaking up my stuff on top of all my other potential issues. So I was thinking next time I see something like that bassy, noisy, like I might bring earphones and see if I don't pass out. I think mostly it was the food and the blood pressure and
more likely.
And all that beer on the empty stomach, like really quick. Listen, like that sounds so rational. I'm sitting here like making up like potential ailments. Like maybe it was because the level in my ear was the bubbles were funny. No, yeah, it's low blood pressure. You didn't eat nothing and you pounded like 2 24-ounce like PBRs in like 5 minutes. That's probably why you passed out, dumbass.
Probably. That was it. That's all I did this weekend. I don't think I had anything else last week. I have 2 other concerts coming up later in the summer.
What are you going to see?
Going to Def Leppard. These other ones are groups are going, so I wasn't planning to go with. It's not like something It's like I got to go see this. Def Leppard and Bryan Adams.
Summer of '69, Bryan Adams.
Summer of '69, Bryan Adams. Which is should be cool. I like seeing live music no matter who it is, but
yeah, absolutely.
I do like Summer of '69, and I like what else does he do that I like? Maybe nothing.
That song from one of those movies that he did with like Sting and Rod Stewart, wasn't it?
Was that Robin Hood?
Robin Hood. All for One and All for Love. That's not the song I was thinking that you might like, but I mean, it could be.
Yeah, so those I gotta find some more more
Look into your heart, something. That song?
Yeah, that's the one.
I like that song.
Right.
It's true. Everything I do it for you, which is also from like a Kevin Costner movie. Maybe also Robin Hood. Oh, All for One and One for All was from the Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
And then that other one was Robin. Yeah. I mostly remember that song because of the Family Guy episode where Stewie made like a really surreal video to that song, and like he was singing it, like Seth MacFarlane was singing that song in the Stewie voice. It was pretty funny.
That is pretty funny. All right, let's get on with some stuff that went on this week.
Sure.
Let's start with the DC stuff. So we got a trailer for the new superhero spin-off from the Arrow and Flash. I think I'll play it. Have you seen it yet?
I have not seen it.
All right, let me play it then.
Lay it on me.
I'm going to turn on the screen sharing and present to everyone. You got it up now?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
I started this alone, and I had every intention of keeping it that way. I had a plan. Life had a different one. And then things just got stranger.
This is all old footage from Flash and Arrow.
Right.
Partners. But the hard, inescapable truth is that sometimes we're not enough. Sometimes the world needs a team.
You call this a team? A girl with wings and a past lives.
Hawker.
Is combustible. What you're up against is bigger than all of us.
Which is why it's gonna take all of you. His name is Vandal Savage. He's been alive thousands of years. He is immortal and commands the most powerful army the world has ever seen.
And what makes you think we could stop him?
Because one day you do. Rip Hunter. I'm from East London. Oh, and the future. I'm a member of the Time Masters, an organization charged with detecting history itself. And in the future, as unlikely as it may seem, you people become a team.
Rory.
I like Rory.
Me too.
Well, those of you who survive at least. Savage's evil spans the course of history, so we will have to travel through time to stop him.
That's the worst Savage can throw at us? We got this thing nailed down.
Why did you say that?
I can't imagine any kind of future where I'm a hero.
Well, you're not.
In the future, none of you are heroes. You're legends.
So, you weren't dead?
Nope. You were just small. You don't believe me? All right. Just watch.
All right, so is this the Adam show?
Yeah. I
So
mean,
he's not getting like a show called The Adam.
no, he's getting that
Okay.
team, whatever that tomorrow. The Legend of Tomorrow is going to be their show.
Okay, I like that better. I mean, I haven't really been following the future of the DC TV universe, although for the most part, I mean, I think it's a lot better than the DC movie universe.
Definitely is.
But I was kind of concerned that he was going to have there's going to be an Adam show.
I think
And-
they could do that with his character, and I think they're smart not to.
Yeah, exactly. I was kind of concerned about that. Especially since Ant-Man is going to kick his ass this summer.
Yeah, he's such a
Possibly.
I do like him. I like his personality and the way they've stuck with it through Arrow. I don't know how far through it you are.
Not far enough.
Okay. Well, he keeps
I'm
that
still halfway through season 2.
he keeps that same cheerful attitude. Is he even in season 2?
No, not yet. Anyway.
Finished season 3? Is that what just ended?
Yeah, I think so. I think season 3 just ended.
Well, that might have been spoilers in there for you. First of all, Adam shows up.
Oh, that I knew.
Right, but he never gets small in Arrow. Up until this point, he's never been small.
Oh, okay. Not even in Flash, because he's in Flash, right?
He showed up in Flash. He just showed up in Flash for the last week's next to last season finale episode.
And did not get small.
Did not get small. He hadn't in the season finale of Arrow.
Yeah.
Him fiddling with his suit, and he says, "I think I can make myself small," and he pushes a button, and his entire office building explodes.
Oh boy.
That's how they ended his storyline in the season finale of Arrow this year.
All right.
That was a bit of a cliffhanger there. We know he survived, and White Canary, right? White Canary's still alive in season 2 of Arrow. The lawyer's sister.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say.
One who's a League of an Assassin, who's in love with the other girl from League of Assassins.
Right. Yeah, I don't think at the point I'm at in Arrow, she doesn't have a name. Aside from like lawyer girl sister.
Yeah, I don't
Sarah?
think they don't. Yeah, Sarah. They don't actually name them. They're good with that. Not actually randomly naming. I mean, in Flash, they do it on purpose. They name everybody in Flash.
Right.
In Arrow, they've been more subtle about it. Like, I don't know what Roy's character's name, he is.
His name is. You're talking about like Arrow Jr., right?
Yeah.
That's what he is in the comics. He's Arrow Jr. No,
right.
Speedy, which
he doesn't say Speedy though.
Yeah, it's like Speedy's not a very good superhero name if like you're Green Arrow Jr.
Right, and so I think they've been calling him Red Arrow,
which makes more sense.
Right, and he doesn't. I don't want to give away too much because you haven't seen it, but by the end of Speedy, a different person takes on that same costume. He doesn't die. So someone else takes up the costume, and that's definitely Speedy.
Is it because like Roy's on heroin?
No, Roy had to leave town. Roy has to leave town
because of heroin.
Roy takes the fall for the Arrow. They out the Arrow. Someone outs the Arrow to the world, to the city, and Roy takes the blame and lets them lock him in jail for it. And then and then fakes his own death, and he has to leave town.
Gotcha.
Everybody knows, even the chief of police knows the real deal. Laurel's dad, even he knows. It's really. What's his name? I'm terrible at names.
Harry Dresden.
Even the chief of police knows it's really Ollie, but he doesn't have it. He has just the confession of someone who just confessed. So how could he not? There's no evidence otherwise. So
right.
Anyway, Speedy is the new Red Arrow. She was only in the season finale that way. I said she, now I gave more away.
Yeah, you gave it all away, man.
It's more in the show for you. If you listen, if you pay attention through the season 2, you'll know, because now that I said, since you knew it was Speedy, there's a character that is called Speedy in the show. Before now,
Mexican mouse.
Maybe you just have never noticed, but
I might not have.
Maybe she's not in it so much yet by the end of season 2, and she's in it much more season 3.
In the comics, like back in the 60s, early 70s maybe, like Roy, Speedy, like Arrow Jr. was a heroin addict. That's why I keep mentioning the heroin, yeah. And it was like the cover of it's kind of like a harsh cover, like Green Arrow, because this is back when like Green Arrow didn't have his own comic. He had like a comic with Green Lantern.
Okay.
It was called Green Guys or something. I don't remember what it was actually called. This might have been called like Green Arrow, Green Lantern, or World's Greenest. But like the cover, it's like one of my favorite covers of all time. It's like Speedy's like all strung out on like heroin. He's got like a needle in his arm, and Green Arrow just is like, oh my god, and he looks all shocked. And Green Lantern just kind of pointing at him, just like, look at that, bro. Your ward's on a horse. And he's just like, no. And I might use that for the art for this show.
That's kind of funny because the character, the Speedy character in the show on TV, who's not Roy, the one that becomes the Red Arrow, did have a drug problem in the TV show before he became the Red Arrow.
See, and like back in, I think still season 1, when I was watching this actual episode with Ange, and there was a scene where he was afraid of needles, Roy, and I just started laughing like really hard. She was like, "What's so funny?" And I was like, "Oh, he's gonna be a heroin addict." It's like he's afraid of needles now. It's like he's not gonna be afraid later.
That's funny.
He'll be tapping that vein.
I mean, they do that a lot on that show. They might have done that on purpose as a Easter egg kind of reference.
Maybe. I mean, that's what I assumed. I assumed it was like like an inside.
Yeah, like last week on Flash, Last week on Flash, they went to an airport, a closed airport. This is even a reference that I caught, and I don't read the comics. They went to an airport, an airline or airport hangar called Ferris Air. And when they got there, they talked about that it was closed down because there was a missing test pilot. And that's a Green Lantern.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
Now, it doesn't mean Green Lantern's ever going to be on the show. I don't think they have the rights to it. But that would definitely, that's a very big Green Lantern reference.
Yeah, and I don't know that I would want to see Green Lantern on TV at this point. I mean, only because, I mean, in order to do Green Lantern, right? I mean, I think you would need a pretty sizable budget.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's like a CW budget. I mean, I bet you, from what I've seen of Flash, I mean, I bet you that's really pushing it. Like what they can do with the money they got.
Flash is really well done, too. But you're right. They're probably right at the edge.
Yeah, I mean, Green Lantern, if done right, would be, you know, that would be a lot of moolah for the CW.
I mean, and there's been the Green Lantern we saw in the movie was only one of several humans that became Green Lantern at one point or another, wasn't there? All different. I saw a list of all different names of people that have become Green Lantern.
Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 like humans that I'm aware of, like Earth people. Yeah. Who've become like Green Lanterns. The biggest one is Hal Jordan, who was the Green Lantern in the movie, and he's like, you know, an awesome Green Lantern. He was the original Green Lantern, not counting Alan Scott, who was the Green Lantern back before it was all spacey. He was like the Golden Age or Silver Age, like Golden Age Green Lantern. And but then there's Guy Gardner, who's like probably my favorite Green Lantern because he's a dick. But he's awesome.
Did you hate the movie? A lot of people hate that movie.
You know, I didn't hate the movie, but I hated the movie. You know, I saw like a lot of potential. I think like some quick edits and some like less stupid would have made the movie like a lot better. Like one of my biggest complaints is like, I mean, Green Lantern, he makes stupid shit out of like his willpower with the power ring. He makes stupid stuff that's very functional. So like when a helicopter's about to crash, in the comic book, Green Lantern would probably make a big catcher's mitt and catch the helicopter and lower it to the ground.
Right.
But for some reason in the movie, he had to catch it in some sort of race car on like a Hot Wheels track that careened all through this party.
Yeah.
Whereas like in the comic, it would have been a catcher's mitt, which in a movie would have been goofy, maybe, but it would have made a lot more sense than like potentially endangering more people. I don't understand the race car in the Hot Wheels track, man. It made no sense to me.
You're right. It doesn't make sense.
You know, I was looking forward to a sequel. I was hoping that they would make that Green Lantern sequel. I mean, I liked Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern mostly. And I thought this might be one of those awesome occasions where like they make a sequel that absolutely tops the original.
Yeah.
I liked the fact that they included Sinestro and they included him as a good guy. He was one of the Green Lanterns because he's a villain. I mean, he becomes like a major villain. So I thought that that's where they were going to go with that. And I was like,
yeah, they did look like it was going that direction at the end there.
Yeah. You know, all the pieces were there and they just like, they didn't put them together, I felt. That was my opinion of the Green Lantern movie. They didn't put them together right. It's like they went to IKEA and they bought a Green Lantern movie and they didn't follow the directions. They just said, nah, I've got this. I'll figure it out. And then you put the baby in and it collapses. I don't know if that's apt.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
Okay.
So I kind of liked this trailer. It felt more like Flash does, more because it's superheroes rather than guys with a lot of money and bows and arrows. So
yeah,
it seems more like the Flash side of the DC universe. And Arrow, I know you're not up to current, but season 3 of Arrow has been really dark and depressing. A lot of depressing stuff, and also reading that they're talking about next season being a little lighter than this season was.
I'm really looking forward to this Legends of Tomorrow now. I really want to watch it.
Yeah, it looks cool. I like the cast. I like that they brought in 2 bad guys from Flash that they feel like are borderline enough to help them when they need help. The freeze guy, with the guy with the freeze ray, and the guy with the fire ray,
Right.
the fire gun. Firestorm and ice. Firestorm and ice something.
Which is one of the few DC comics like I actually read as a child. Firestorm. I really liked it. I don't know why. The costume was ridiculous, and I don't know. I really liked it though.
Yeah.
When I was a kid.
But he's like, isn't he in what was it called? Rogues League? Rogues Gallery? When he was he was a villain? You don't know? You don't know enough of DC?
No, see, like, yeah, my DC knowledge like goes back to like the early to mid 70s, and then just like some stuff that like I just can't miss because I follow those particular like news streams.
Right. All right. So on that note, I'm looking forward to that. I'm liking DC on TV. I don't like Gotham as much as I like the other two that are currently on. We also saw a trailer for Supergirl this week, which looks like it's going in a whole another direction, but is not the same cinematic universe as Flash and Arrow and not the same universe, they say.
Man, they need to stop that. Is it also on the CW?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. Sort of.
I'm not positive. Wonder Woman.
I mean, Marvel rules, period, because Marvel just will always rule. I don't know what the fuck they're doing right now with their comics. It seems a little silly to me, but I'm not reading them, so what do I know? But I love, and we've talked about it like a lot, about how like we like the fact that they tie their TV continuity with the movie continuity, blah, blah, blah. I think DC needs to like, first of all, I think they should keep their continuity separate. I do, because I think that their movie universe is going to suck.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the movies will be enjoyable. They'll be popcorn movies. It'll be fun to see things blow up. But, I mean, I don't think they're going to be very good, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
But everything I've seen about their TV universe, I like. I like Arrow. I like the one episode I saw Flash, even though I had a couple of but it was a TV show and it's Flash, so what do I expect? This Legends of Tomorrow looks awesome. I think they should definitely keep these things together, and I think they should try to like tie. They shouldn't make separate TV universes because Gotham is a separate universe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and now they're gonna have like Supergirl in a separate universe. And I mean, they don't even actually have to meet these characters, but just name drop them occasionally.
Yeah, it feels like it's becoming a big mess. Whereas Marvel seems so focused in keeping it all continuity between everything.
Right, and this is why DC has to reboot their fucking entire comic line every 5 years.
Yeah.
Because they do this in the comics too.
Yeah, I can't disagree. I think you're right. A little
bunch of bastards.
Much. I had one more thing about comics and such, and we'll do that before we take a break. Fox is going to Fox just signed Josh Boone, who directed Fault in Our Stars, to do a spin-off of the X-Men movies called The New Mutants. New Mutants is a comic book, existing comic book, right?
I don't know if it exists anymore, but yes.
It originated in 1982, it says.
Yeah, it was the first X-Men spin-off comic ever. Okay. It's like X-Men used to be like one comic. It was the Uncanny X-Men, period. And someone had the brilliant idea, and I'm sure someone probably complained about it, to like, well, let's do a second X-Men comic book. We'll call it New Mutants, and it's about the students, because all these X-Men are at a school. But none of them were learning anything.
Right.
They were all adults who were just like fighting crime. And so they came up with the good idea of like actually getting some new mutants who would actually attend the school. And the series was awesome. It was a great series. And it was the first of what became like 20 separate X-Men series running at the same time, each one with a Wolverine in it.
Uh-huh.
As he was also on 2 Avengers teams and a member of the Fantastic Four for a short bit.
It says there's also Deadpool is also due to hit theaters next February. 3 months later, X-Men Apocalypse will be out, and then after that, there'll be a 3rd and final Wolverine movie. That's a lot of X movies coming up too. They're definitely cashing in on the superhero movie thing that seems to be working at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, in X-Men, I mean, I've got to say, I mean, I had no faith in X-Men anymore after I saw X-Men 3.
Is that the one
Yeah.
with the Cure? Was it the one with the Cure shooting the Cure, or was that the one where they were young again?
That was the one with the Magneto. I mean, and Phoenix. Like, Phoenix comes back from the dead, and they killed Professor Xavier, and they killed Cyclops, and the movie was just bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't very good.
But after
And
that,
so I was just like, after that, it was awesome. X-Men First Class, I didn't see it for months. I was like, I'm done. I'm done with the X-Men movies. And then I finally saw it because I was bored, and it was really good.
and I haven't seen the more recent one, the one with both old X-Men and young X-Men yet.
That one was pretty good. No, I mean, it was good. Let me take that back. It was good. It was really good. It really, I mean, you know me, I'm a big nerd when it comes to things like continuity and stuff, and I'm just like, it's fucking, I mean, I don't understand the continuity. I mean, Professor Xavier is dead. Cyclops is supposed to be dead. Well, actually, we don't see Cyclops until the end of that one, when he could theoretically be alive because they changed the past. But Xavier in the future, well, he shouldn't be there. Patrick Stewart shouldn't be in the future. He died in X-Men in the bad X-Men movie. So he shouldn't be in the future.
Even if
granted,
they did hint that he transferred his consciousness somehow, but it wouldn't
into himself.
Yeah, it wouldn't look like Patrick Stewart.
Right, but I mean, all things being equal, these are based on comic books where people die all the time and come back all the time. So why am I bitching? I need to let that go. But I liked it. I mean, the Days of Future Past was a really good movie. I really loved the second Wolverine movie. And I have a feeling that Age of Apocalypse is going to be really good, and I hope that the last Wolverine movie is going to be good. And then I think Hugh Jackman probably should hang it up.
I think I liked the second Wolverine movie better than the first.
You know, I didn't. I would have to agree because I have not watched the first one all the way through. The couple times I've tried, I've either fallen asleep or like wandered off and done something else. And not that I thought at the time that it was bad, but it's just like, you know, I just wasn't that into it. Yeah, I mean, I've probably seen it all the way through. Just didn't pay attention.
It had that scene at the end where they were on the top of a nuclear power plant thing, and
yeah, because I remember that now. And I remember he fought Deadpool, who had no mouth.
Yeah,
which is weird because the tagline for like Deadpool is like he's the merc with a mouth. So I mean that was weird.
awesome.
But yeah, I remember that scene. So yeah, I must have seen it all the way through, but was probably dicking around my phone throughout most of it because I just wasn't that into it. But yeah, the second Wolverine movie was fantastic. I loved it.
That was better. And the last little bit of superhero stuff is kind of a funny little article. All right, so Tomorrowland is about to come out on Friday, which is a Disney movie.
Yeah.
And it was written by Damon Lindelof. And he wanted to he pitched to them to put in a post-credits scene at the very end. And his pitch was to have Samuel Jackson wearing an eye patch, holding a lightsaber, with a Frozone costume on, and just saying to the camera, "I'm in this one too," and then cut to black.
That's awesome.
I thought that was really hysterical.
That is.
That would have
Lindelof's like, I'm hit and miss with him, man.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes I think he's really good, and other times I wonder how he still gets work. And I recently read an interview with him and Brad Bird about Tomorrowland.
Mm-hmm.
And Even in the interview, I kept thinking to myself, like while reading the interview, I just kept thinking to myself, I was like, how's this man still getting work? But I mean, I got to say, for everything Lindelof does that I really don't like, I mean, he does do stuff I really do like. So I'm going to give him a pass. I'm going to leave him alone, I think, for a while.
Okay, I'm going to go see it. I think I'm going to take Joe to see it on Saturday.
I would love to see Tomorrowland. I might go see it. I got to see Mad Max, bro.
That's not true. One of the review I read said that for a really fun, beautiful, good movie, it's got a few problems. So that's a good review.
Yeah.
It's the only review I read, though.
The Mad Max has gotten some like killer reviews.
Yeah, I definitely need to see that right away.
People said that Mad Max is the greatest movie ever. 4 stars. I see a lot of 4 stars.
Yeah, I definitely.
Mad Max would have been the biggest movie this weekend had Pitch Perfect come out. Pitch Perfect.
It's a little shocking that they both beat week 3 of Avengers, but I suppose not so shocking.
No, and Avengers, I mean, they had a strong weekend.
Yeah. And
for like a third weekend. I mean, they didn't have like a super weekend, but it wasn't bad.
No, it was pretty good. All right, so let's take a break, and then we'll do a few small news stories, and one last. We'll talk a little bit about Twin Peaks, and then we'll call it a show. I thought we had nothing to talk about, and we've already gone almost an hour. So let's take a quick break.
Cool.
You know that it will be untrue. You know that I will be alive if I want to say to you, girl, we couldn't get much higher. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire. No time to hesitate this through. No time to walk in the mile. Try now, we can only lose, and our love becomes a funeral pyre. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire. You know that it will be untrue. You know that I will be alright if I have to say to you, girl, we couldn't get much higher. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire.
We're back.
Yeah, it was the Necromantics with their cover of the Doors Crystal Ship. No, Light My Fire.
Mhm. So we have two short news stories. One of them is that there is going to be a sequel or a reboot for The Last Starfighter.
What?
Yeah.
It's
been 30 years since the original.
That may be good news.
What does it say here? It says it gets tied up in who owns the rights because Spielberg was trying to get the rights and he couldn't get the rights. And the author of the screenplay, the original screenwriter, said that he had originally written it as a trilogy. And they're trying to get it made again. Maybe a sequel. Weird, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I like that a lot. I like the idea.
What if Alex came back to Earth and tried to recruit like his brother?
Or his grandson.
Yeah. Starfighter 2. The other piece of news is that Disney might be making either a channel on cable or a streaming app kind of channel with only Marvel and Star Wars stuff on it.
Really?
Yeah, it says that more likely it would be some kind of streaming service because they can't imagine just playing old Marvel and Star Wars movies over and over again.
I can imagine.
But an app where you could, pay for a monthly fee and download and watch or pay per episode. That's what it looks like. Streaming. Unclear how this would work with Marvel's existing streaming deals with Netflix, or if it would involve digging up old crappy Marvel and old crappy Star Wars content produced over the years. Or if it would eventually include new original content. So they're not giving us much. It's just a little blurb article.
I'd be interested. I wouldn't want them to lose their Netflix stuff, though.
No, that wouldn't be good.
That'd be a bad idea.
Our last story is an update to the Twin Peaks saga. We talked about it last week, how David Lynch had a squabble with Showtime, and it had been old news by the time we got to it on the show.
Yeah,
and
it was.
If we had just waited one more week, we could have completely ignored the story because he went to Twitter and said, "Dear Twitter friends, the rumors are not what they seem. It is happening again. Twin Peaks returns on Showtime Network."
I just got that when you said that out loud. The rumors are not what they seem.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's happening again. That was from when Maddie gets killed.
Yeah.
The giant tells him it's happening again. So Showtime has committed to producing more than their originally planned 9 episodes as well. They said this much worse references from them than from David Lynch. "This damn fine cup of coffee from Mark and David tastes more delicious than ever," Showtime president said. "Totally worth the extra brewing time, and the cup is even bigger than we expected. David Lynch will direct the whole thing, which will be more than the originally announced 9 hours. Production is starting now." All of that is good, I think.
Yeah, and I think that also perhaps I'm glad we talked about this last week.
Yeah.
Because I think that, we were talking about when there was a talk about money. I mean, we were both hoping, and we thought perhaps it was about the money to make the show rather than how much money David Lynch is going to get.
Right.
Because David Lynch is just awesome. I don't think he cares how much money he's getting. I'm sure he wants to get paid fairly, but the fact that it's going to be more than 9 episodes, that leads me to believe that it's about doing it right. And I think they were just well, we're going to do 9 episodes. This is how much money we have. We're doing 9 episodes. And David Lynch was maybe we can't do this in 9 episodes and have it not suck.
Right.
Or something.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. We did talk about this last time.
So that's awesome news. That gum you like is coming back in style, by the way.
Someone else did that on someplace this week too.
That's how David Lynch first announced, like last year or earlier this year.
Yes.
God bless him. Love me some David Lynch. I might watch Dune. I'm probably not going to do that. I don't think I have the time or the patience at the moment. But I wouldn't mind it.
No, I love that movie. I can watch it over and over.
The movie's awesome. Haters gonna hate, Joe.
I think if they're really doing, like, for example, 10 hours, that may be more than he directed of the entire first 2 seasons. I don't think he directed every episode in the first season. I know he only directed a handful of episodes in the second season.
Yeah, I think he was more like a showrunner.
Yeah, I'm not sure. The best episodes are all the ones that he directed, though.
Did we even use terms like showrunner back in like the late 80s? I don't think we did. Early 90s.
No, I don't think so.
They're just people who worked on shows.
Different time for TV.
It was. David Lynch was like supposed to direct Return of the Jedi.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
I kind of knew that, like I had read it somewhere, and like a long time ago.
Yeah.
And completely forgot about it, and I read it again like sometime this week, and so that's why I bring it up now. But I thought that would have been awesome.
It's very strange.
A David Lynch directed Return of the Jedi would have been good.
He directed 7 episodes of Twin Peaks for the entire run. He directed the first episode, 3rd episode, then nothing else until season 2, the 1st, 2nd, the 15th, the 7th, 1st, 2nd, 7th, and then nothing again until the last episode, 22. So he hardly directed any of the original series. But he wrote more than that, though. He and Mark Frost together wrote the first 3, and then Mark Frost wrote a couple more that season 1, and then season 2, they wrote the first episode together, and then neither of them had anything to do with any of the rest of the episodes until... Oh, even the last one, only Mark Frost. So Lynch only wrote 3 or 4 episodes there, too.
Now, I bet you all those episodes are the good ones.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
I've been listening to one of those rewatch podcasts, and they went through the second season with like a sledgehammer. There was so much bad going on that I ignore when I watch it, because I like the good parts are good enough for me to ignore the bad parts.
Sure.
But listening to them talk about it, there was some bad stuff. But yeah, the next episode I have waiting to listen to is the final episode of the show. So back to Lynch.
I'm really behind then, because I listened to the first 3 episodes,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't listened to any of them since.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty far behind on that.
And I listened this week to your you recommended the Game of Thrones podcast from the guys who did the Drunks and Dragons show.
Yeah, Cast of Thrones.
Yeah, I listened to this week's, and they do a lot of comparing to the book, more so than the other Game of Thrones podcasts that I listen to. They're just reviewing the show for its own merits, not things that they don't like or do like that was different from the book.
Right.
Different. It's like a completely different take on it, actually.
Yeah. And they try to save a lot of that stuff for like the second half of their show.
Yeah, they have a spoiler thing at the end too. I guess I don't have anything else this week.
What else was David Lynch supposed to direct he didn't wind up directing?
I don't know.
I want to say there was something else.
I don't know.
There's like a 10-year-old boy in me that wishes it was Ghostbusters, but I know that that's not true.
Well, I just watched Ghostbusters today.
Really?
Yeah, it was on maybe FX 2 in a row. Ghostbusters 1 and 2 were on like it back to back.
Could you imagine a David Lynch directed Ghostbusters?
Oh, that would be insane.
That would be insane. I bet you it would be good, though.
Yeah. What else I watched this week? I watched the Clone Wars movie.
Did you?
Yeah, the hour and a half, the one that was all about rescuing a baby.
Oh, we're going to talk more about it Thursday on Delusions of Grandeur. But I mean, general impression before we get there.
I think I liked it better than the prequel movies.
I knew you would. Yeah. Clone Wars cartoons are awesome. I'm telling you, man.
It's not what I expected because I didn't until we started talking about it. I didn't even know there was a standalone movie before the TV series.
Right.
So I didn't know it existed until very recently.
Tell me Anakin Skywalker isn't awesome.
No, he's definitely better than the whiny Anakin from the
Oh
movie.
my God, he's awesome. Oh, we're gonna have fun talking about it Thursday.
Yeah, I think we will. I'm gonna make sure. Since it was the first time I saw it, I didn't take notes or anything. I just watched it straight through.
Right.
I'll have to watch it again before Thursday and pay more attention. And I wanted to get an overview of it, and JoJo was with me watching it.
Cool.
I'll watch it again when there were severed heads in there. Was that what you meant when you said that it was a little darker than it might be appropriate for JoJo?
Yeah, I mean, even though it was like a Cartoon Network cartoon,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was like at 8:00 at night.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't really see anyone's, like, once again, kind of like in Attack of the Clones, like Boba Fett had the helmet on when he gets like his head chopped. Not Jango Fett, I'm sorry, has his helmet on.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot of like faced violence. There's not a lot of violence with a face to it. There is some, but I mean, a lot of it is going to be droids and clones wearing, helmets.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's definitely got a darker tone to it, especially when you compare it with Rebels. Because like even though people are dying in Rebels too, it's definitely a much lighter tone and does something that you could let a little kid watch.
Yes.
Whereas I definitely think that there are some episodes of the Clone Wars that are just a little dark, and might not be suitable for much younger viewers. How old is JoJo now?
6.
Yeah, I mean, there's some episodes I would say might not be appropriate for JoJo. Most of them I think are. But occasionally there's there are story arcs that get dark.
All right. I'm gonna have
But a
to
lot of them are very lighthearted and fun.
He saw that there was more after we watched the movie. He saw that the little icon on Netflix, and he was like, "More." And I was like, "Not today. I want to watch them before I watched the first one again."
Yeah.
But I may let him watch the first one with me and see how I feel about how appropriate it is. I don't subscribe to that. We talked about Age of Ultron with JoJo recently, so I'm not of the opinion that he's sensitive to that sort of stuff, especially if it's a cartoon.
I'll tell you, I mean, since on Delusions of Grandeur, I mean, we'll have an idea of what episodes we're going to be watching ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
I'll definitely let you know, because I think a lot of times we're going to do story arcs.
Okay.
If I remember that a story arc is particularly dark, I'll let you know ahead of time so that you can watch it first and decide what your comfort level is.
I think that's all I've got for the week.
All right.
We do this Monday nights around 8:30 or 9 o'clock. You can find all our stuff at nottheshow.com. Follow us on Twitter at nottheshow, facebook.com/nottheshow, and personally, I am at Ojoey, and Mondo is at Dharma Bob. Mondo does a couple other podcasts. You could find them at
the Dungeons and Dragons podcast. You can find at geekfightclub.net. And then you and I do Delusions of Grandeur, which is a Star Wars canon podcast we just talked about.
Yeah.
And you can find that at geektrash.com, which is the beginning of the Geek Trash Podcast Network.
I saw that today.
Yeah.
Nice.
We'll see what we do with that.
Cool. That's awesome. And so we will call it a night. Next week is Memorial Day, so I don't know if we're going to do a show Memorial Day. I mean, maybe the day after.
Yeah, that sounds good because I like that idea. I don't know what I'm doing next Memorial Day. Possibly nothing. I do have plans for Sunday. My D&D nerds for the most part.
Right.
One of them is having a barbecue. And so we're going to go there, and I don't know.
We'll talk about it over the weekend. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week at some point, and have a good night, buddy.
You too.
Here is some.
1, 2, 3, 4.
smoke the cat. Hey, I don't know the hell, but I'm coming in. I say no, cat, red out, red cat. Hey, I need a man, see the light. Singing on and on, the bumps begin to whine. Singing on and on, I see the bumps begin to whine. I know, but the pain, no pain, and the pain. Singing on and on. I say I want to receive all my sweet heaven. You're coming in here and then I'm going to heaven. Hey, la la la, hey, in hell, in my tears, I just get a rain and then.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.